and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be reading to you from the Dreamkeeper's Tarot by Liz Huston. So today I'm going to use a spread that Liz includes in her book that goes with the Dreamkeeper's Tarot, and this is called the Path of the Heart spread. All right, I'll take a hand. Cards just want to jump out today. So the Path of the Heart spread is all about deciding if a course of action that we'd like to take has our best interest at heart or our heart in it. So we're going to take a look at that. So what course of action are you contemplating that you're wondering, is this for me? Or is it just, something passing through my field of receptivity? All right. Okay. Where are we currently? Where are we currently? Five of Swords. So Five of Swords. This gal, she's got octopus tentacles coming out of her hands and her back. Five of Swords, yeah. So being in a position of, it's certainly an uncomfortable position, but it's an uncomfortable mental position. So it usually is indicative of feeling humbled or humiliated, exposed, justly or unjustly, it doesn't matter. It's just, having somebody either poke holes in your theory or be overly critical or, in any way that's making you look bad or feel bad about some work that you've done. So that's where we are in the current. Where are we going? Temperance. The Temperance card. Finding that balance between what we think and what is really happening. What do you fear? What is the fear in all of this? Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. So what is the lesson learned, or is the concern of not learning a lesson? Let's proceed a little further and see how this goes. Aspirations. Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. That's interesting as an aspiration. Let me show you how this is starting to shape up on the table. Aspirations. Five of Pentacles. So it looks as if she is seeking some divine guidance here, but she seems to be kind of tied up with what appears to be part of her reality right now. So perhaps in this, something aspirational would be to break free of these ties and to be able to transcend that into some sort of higher divine purpose, or a higher purpose set before us by the divine. Something that goes over here. Something that you'd like to change. Ten of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so you've got this sense of feeling that you've been stabbed in the back here. Somebody has been throwing some swords at you, and you would like to change how that feels, because it's a rotten feeling. But a Ten of Swords in reverse certainly gives you a little bit of space and time to be able to make that adjustment. To be able to break free of those swords, to kind of fall off the point, regain your balance here with Temperance, and begin that higher march towards something that gives you some more purpose. Something to be grateful for. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is usually a card of completion and success. What may be grateful about this sense of incompletion in the reverse is that this isn't over with yet. You are not sealed to this feeling, this mental construct of what it might have been a painful confrontation or an awkward situation. The story's not over. You're not limited to this. What's the heart of this path? Three of Pentacles. Okay, so there is a sense of hope of being able to work with other people, perhaps in a different environment. That's in a productive and beautiful way. So the Three of Pentacles being kind of this first point of stability in the material world, going from the Ace to the balancing of the Two to the cooperation of the Three. It's a point of growth. It's a small point of stability that can get you further towards this 5 here. Because this isn't this is over in the sense that you have experienced this and now you have a chance to release yourself from this pain. And you have the timing and opportunity to do that. Got 2 10s here. 10s are usually indicative of end of one story and the new beginning of another. But in this, the sense is ongoing. You can release this. You can move on. You have a sense of moving on here. This unpleasantness is not finalized. What are you afraid that you'll learn from this, though? Because the Page of Pentacles is our dedicated student, our budding philosopher. Perhaps what this is exposed for you is that there was a truth or something that you thought was very true, and it turned out you've had to recant on that because it was proven false. And that's a painful lesson to learn. Hi, you were wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. Most people, our egos just really have a hard time with that. Some of us are, eventually grateful to have learned our errors so that we can move on with our lives in better balance and perhaps more fruitfully. But in the meantime, it's a lesson that kind of sucks. It's a little bit hard to swallow, this unpleasantness here. But the opportunity is to learn from it, as painful as it is. It's unpleasant. And to get back on track with going in the direction that you really want to go in. Temperance, balance, finding that middle ground, the middle path, the right way to get to this sense of cooperation. And there may be some apologies that need to be made. And it may be something you don't really feel necessarily was your fault. But if it was your misgiving and you've learned from it, then apologizing might be the way to go. Putting all the pieces together. This particular version of Temperance has an interesting jigsaw puzzle motif to it. Trying to put it all together. Little bird looks like it's got a pomegranate in its mouth. Yes, temperance. Finding that balance so that you can move on, that you could pass through this, you can learn from it, as unpleasant as it is, and you still have space to grow. There's still growth happening here. So we've got a lot of pentacles on this side. Actually, a lot of pentacles all throughout. So this is something that's definitely playing out in your material world, perhaps in your work or school, depending on what your daily environment is like. Yeah, pentacles, 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 pentacles. There's a lot of daily life, daily living, work life. And the swords are what's going on in your mind. You're learning this in work. This is what's going through your head. But this is the goal, is to find that balance, to kind of get over it. to be able to learn from it and move on in a direction that gets you some progress. There's some interesting sticking places here in the middle of the suit of Pentacles. You've got this cooperation of the 3. The 4 of Pentacles is usually a stuck or miserly card. And then you've got the 5, who's on the other side of miserliness, and that they are stuck in some sort of dearth of necessities. And then you move on to the 6, where there's a little more sharing, and the 7, where there's growth. And so the middle, the 4s and the 5s, 4 and 5 of Pentacles is a little challenging to get through. But looking at these 2 cards together, you do get through it. You cut these ties. And it could be what has bound you to an erroneous form of thought. You thought a situation was one thing and it turned out to be something else, and you had to apologize for that. There was a misunderstanding. It felt bad, it looked bad. But finding that middle road is really the high road to go. Getting that sense of cooperation back is really what's going to get you forward. Yeah. The consequences of the lesson. Well, it looks like things get back on track. Back to that sense of cooperation and balance. Back to a sense of peace. Okay. So you still have an opportunity to alleviate the situation, to alleviate this discomfort, to get back to working as a happy team in whatever situation that this is manifesting for you. And finding that balance. Temperance is important. There's sometimes when temperance can kind of hold us back, when you need to have a passionate idea move you forward, but that's not the case here. You need to get some of these painful ideas, to face them, to learn from them, and to let them go. And that's where temperance is getting you right now. So, ongoing. It's an ongoing process. We don't get a whole lot of conclusion out here. I think the wouldn't call it an outcome card, just the sense of change. It's just getting a little further along. Just getting a little further along. And that's fine. Little bit by bit. Baby steps. Go in baby steps. And that's fine. You've got a little time to do that. Time has been given you to make that amends. Okay, well, I hope this has been helpful to you. Let's see. Empress underneath. Empress underneath. Yeah, now is the time to kind of move from the heart. To have that sense of being the bigger person, being benevolent, finding your temperance. Yep. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You can find your inner empress. You can find that higher road, that higher ground. You know, because you care. And that's why it hurts. It hurts because you care. But don't stop caring. Don't stop caring. That you're strong enough to both care and to heal. Okay? All right. All right. I'm feeling that that gives you some way forward. I hope this helped you. Thank you for watching. And goodbye for now.